detachments with proliferative retinopathies.
Some important messages. So this is basically about opening up of a closed funnel. So using a PFCL and using a PFCL to the advantage. If you look at it, how to open that. Like you just go inside the funnel and inject a small bubble, and then go into the bubble and then start injecting further. Don't inject at once, then it might cause fishheads and goes into the subretinal space. And if you inject with force, it might even create a retinal break and the PFCL goes subretinal. So, and don't inject completely at one go, and then try to see if there is any membranes which are there still intact, and we just have to keep peeling them and then keep injecting further so that you can flatten the whole retina. So that's one thing which I wanted to. So this is where we're actually unfolding the rolled edges of the retinal hair and trying to remove off the small membranes there in that peripheral area to open up the whole flap. And if you look at it, the PFCL bubble is still not crossed the edge of the retinal hair. So we're still trying to keep it there, and then I usually do a fluid air exchange, but I prefer to do it because I do it in 25 gauge, so it's not that easy to do a PFCL oil exchange, but I usually prefer to remove off the air and then inject oil separately. So if you look at it, the reason why I'm showing this clip is basically I wanted to highlight that where to keep your aspiration or fluid. You look at that, it's not onto the surface of the retina. You'll see the edge between the fluid and air, and then keep it there till the level goes off completely and then goes into the center, so that you don't have a possibility of a slipping of the flap. So that's something which you should always make sure that you do that. So the next thing which I wanted to show is cutting of the retina. So nobody wants to cut retina that easily, but sometimes you may have to. So look at this. You are right removing off all the membranes, whatever is there on the surface, and if you look at it, there is a fold here which is there sitting here. That's a retinal fold which is not going off. So I had to cut the retina there to flatten that fold, to look for if there are any subretinal membranes which are there in that area. So fortunately there were no subretinal membranes there. So I had to cut the retina and then put it back. And I use usually a cutter to cut the retina. You can even use a vertical scissors if you have, but then nowadays with the cutters I don't think so we need to use any more scissors. The cutters are as good as scissors right now, especially the vertical scissors. And make sure that always the bleeding points are taken care of, so that that will not go into the subretinal space and then cause a problem there. They can always, if you leave the blood in subretinal space, it can always form a subretinal membranes again and causing a DVR to recur and then redetach again. So that you can see that the retinal fold has disappeared after you cut the retina there.